Hi everyone, my name is Ardelianda Augesla. I come from English Department student batch 2018 University of Mangkurat, course Cross-Cultural Understanding A2. Today, I want to tell you guys about everyday English manners. The first one is walking in the public. The first one is stay to the right. This is the number one rule of walking. Staying to the right will help you and everyone else avoid those awkward moments on the sidewalk when you don't know who is going to go on the left or right. This is also helpful for avoiding collisions as you turn a corner. The second is don't stop suddenly. You wouldn't do that in the car, so why don't it while walking? Stopping short can create a three pedestrian pile up behind you. Third is don't take up the entire sidewalk. If you are walking with one or more people, try not to all walk in the parallel line. First, people can get you by walking on the opposite way. Second, and possibly even more annoying, faster walker can get around if they are behind you. The third, walk faster or move over. Very similar to the right hand lane on the highway. If you are walking slowly and prohibiting people from passing, please move over. Otherwise, you might get a flat tire from a tailgating pedestrian. The fourth, walk fast. The fourth, get off on the phone. To bring it all back around again, get off on the phone. I know it's difficult, but walking and talking is a recipe for disaster. If you have to pick up the phone, pull over to the side of the sidewalk and talk so you don't cause any other pedestrian crash along the way. The last is pedestrian flat tire. The definition is stepping on the rear portion of the shoe as the foot leaves and thereby removing it. Also known as a heels. A variant is to kick someone's heel forward as it lifts. Next, keying. Next, keying. Queuing. Do not skip the line. Call it whatever you want. Line jumping, queue, jumping, betting, or speaking or skipping the line. The fact is nobody likes it. You could almost call line skipping a social taboo, yet people still tend to do it. Second, respect other people. One important thing to realize is that you are not the only person in the queue, unless you literally are. It it may sound obvious, but hey, when obvious stuff needs to be spelled out from time to time, it's quite irritating when a person behind you is talking in your ear as if it was their property. The waiting is annoying as is, so having someone noisy and disturbing is a quick recipe for disaster. The third, mind the personal space. Another thing that you should be aware of is personal space. You don't need to stand so close to others that then can really breathing. Be mindful of others and leave some gap between you and other people. Studies show that 8 until 16 inches is what people generally consider their personal space. It's best to err on the side of caution, of course. And the last is keep your anger low. We get it. We've all been there. Anger is a very human reaction, especially so when you've been standing in one place for God knows how long it is. At the same time, taking out your frustration on other victims of mismanaged cues is not the way to go about it. Ask yourself this: would you have liked to get shouted at? Next, handshake. The first one is keep between 3 or 4 feet. between you and the person you will be shaking hands with. Don't get too close and invade the other person's personal space. Second is stand with proper posture. The third is sit. Etiquette requires you stand up to shake hands. Four, smile. Five, over your left hand if the other person's hand appears injured. Six, grab the other person's hands, grabs the middle of the other person's hand so that the web between your thumb and index finger meets the web of the other person's web. Apply a firm grip but not too firm. The best etiquette is to try to mirror the grip pressure used by the other person if possible. Next, being demonstrative. The first one is cheek kissing. It's a ritual or social kissing gesture to indicate friendship, family relationship, from a greeting to congratulation to comfort someone, to show respect, and to indicate sexual or romantic interest. The next is holding hands as friends in the UK is quite unusual. Instead, more common for female friends is to link arms. For male friends, there is usually no contact. Holding hands is usually reserved only for parent-children relationship or between partners, like girlfriend, boyfriend, husband, and wife. Next is minding your PS or please and KS or thank you. If you mind your PS and KS or watch your PS and KS, you try to speak or behave politely. We always mind our PS and QS in front of the queen, but their relationship wasn't that close. Not. This expression may originally have been a warning to children not to confuse PS and KS when learning the alphabet. Alternatively, PS and KS may stand for please and thank yous or expression of politeness. Next is apologizing. The first one, you should admit to yourself that you were wrong and admit your mistakes to the other person. Say you are sorry. Don't make excuse. Smooth over the situation with kind words. Replace broken or stolen items. Don't push or expect too much too soon, and it's been a long time. And the next is discussing money. If you are discussing money in English everyday manners, you first don't teach others and don't feel obligated to lend money. Always pay off your debts on time. Don't ask people how much they spend on something. Don't complain about your problems with money to friends who earn less than you. And last is if you turn a friend for a service, pay them as if they were any other professional. Next, talking about weather. The rules of English weather speak tell us quite a lot about Englishness already before we even begin to examine the meaning of other English conversation codes and rules of behavior in other aspects in English life. These rules provide a number of hints and clues about the grammars of Englishness. In the reciprocity and context rules, we see clear sign of reserve and social inhibition, but also the indigenous use of facilitator to overcome these handicaps. The agreement rules and its exceptions provide hints about the importance of politeness and avoidance of conflict and the precedence of etiquette over logic. In variation to the agreement rules or subclauses to the weather hierarchy rules, we find indication of the acceptance of eccentricity and some hints of stoicism. The latter balance of predilection of Irish morning. The moderation rules reveals a dislike of disapproval of extremes, and the weathers as family rule expose or perhaps surprising patriotism, along with a quirky appreciation of understand charm. The shipping forest ritual illustration a deep seat needs a sense of safety, security of continuity, and a tendency of become upset when these are treated, as well as love of words and somewhat eccentric definition to arcane and apparently irrational pastimes and practice. There seems also to be an undercurrent of humor in all this, reluctance to the thing seriously. The next is public manners or small talk. The first one, you should keep the spotlight on others, be genuinely interested in others, be well read. And the next is to read about a variety of subjects, either online or print edition of magazine and newspaper. And the next is keep it light, and then be a good listener and be you. It's an important thing. And the next is tipping. Tipping is like a blockchain and Brexit. Important but super confusing. When and how much on tip can depend on any number of topics, including the specific situation, service, and even the location. Tipping used to be about showing appreciation for good service, but as minimum wage as plateaued. Federal minimum wage is 70.25 workers have come to depend on it. What's more, only 7 states require tip workers to be paid minimum wage. Before tips in other states, their wage start at $2.13 an hour. So how do you make sure people are properly compensated, especially when most service industry workers depend on gratuity? Consider this your go-to tipping handbook for knowing exactly when, whom, and how much to tip at any given night in any given time. And then bedroom manners. The first one is close the door. This may seem like a no-brainer, but you will be surprised by how many people don't bother closing the door all the way when they use the restroom. Close the door and make sure it clicks, but you are in a public facility, lock it. If someone accidentally walks in on you, not only will you be embraced, the other person will be red as well. The next is check first. In the public restroom, don't just don't just push open a stall door. Someone may have missed the latch on the lock might not work. Check under the door. If you see fit, go to another stall or wait for the first to the for the first for the person to finish. And avoid chatter. Don't confuse the restroom with a conference room. It's not the place to chat about business or hold long personal discussion. Remember that there may be other people there and they shouldn't be forced to listen to something they do need to know. And the next is allow personal space. When you go into the restroom, don't crowd other people. Be respectful of the personal space of others. Unless the restroom is crowded, skip an urinal to prevent someone else from being uncomfortable, and never look at another man as he does his business. Sorry, the next is ignore your cell phone. Don't chat on your cell phone while using the restroom. And the last is flush the toilet and cover the evidence. Before you leave the room, make sure you flush the toilet, stick around and check to see if everything has been whisked away. You don't need to leave something behind for the next person to deal with. And the last is we will talk about table manner. The table manner first is make good use of your napkin. Place your napkin in your lap immediately upon sitting down. Unfold it while it is in your lap. The second is utensil etiquette. In most situations, use the outside in rule to tell which knife, fork, or spoon to use at the dinner table. Use utensils on the outside first and work way in with each new course. And the next is removing unwanted food from your mouth. Food is removed from the mouth in the manner in which it is put into the mouth. Food, food, food put into the mouth with an utensil is removed with an with an utensil. When fingers are used to eat food, the pit or bone is removed with fingers. The next is excusing yourself, and then cutting wood, and then electronic devices, and then seasoning food. Like when we are dinner party or restaurant, proper table manners dictate that you test your food before seasoning it. And then speaking while eating. If you have more than a few words to say, swallow your food, rest your fork on your plate, and speak before you resume eating. And then reaching. Items are within reach if they are within easy reach of your arms when you are learning, only slightly forwards. Don't lean past the person sitting next to you. And the last is don't drink with a full mouth. To avoid leaving food on the rim of the vessel, make sure the mouth is free of food, and blot the lips with a napkin before taking a sip of a beverage. Okay, maybe that's all for me. Thank you so much for watching this video. I'm really sorry if there are so many mistakes while pronouncing or explaining these English everyday members. Thank you so much. See you next time.